The 266th session of the 10th Council, December 7, 2022 at 6:02 p.m. Invocation. I thought I saw Pastor Matlock, but I don't. Invocation by Councilwoman Doris Taylor Burke. Turn on your microphone.
Heavenly Father, we come once again thanking you for allowing us to be here today, allowing all the citizens that are here to be here today, and we thank you for that, Lord. We thank you for keeping us safe from hurt, harm, or danger. We thank you for looking over us when we slumber and sleep. We thank you for just one more Christmas that's coming up, Lord Jesus, and hope that everyone have a wonderful, blessed Christmas in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. It's good to have Mr. Stewart here. All right. All right. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Carter. Present. Miller. Pila. Stramsky. Taylor Burks.
Present.
Waterman.
Here.
Williams.
Present.
President, you have quorum.
All right. Now we need an authorization to excuse Councilwoman Sharamsky, Councilwoman Miller, and Councilwoman Pila.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Okay. 4 yeas, no nays.
Okay. All right. Amendments to the agenda. I would like to add on two resolutions. One, you have in front of you the Pontiac City Council resolution about the mayor hosting State of the City farewell address. Is there a motion to add that to the agenda?
Move.
Is there support?
Support.
Okay. Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
4 yeas, no nays.
Okay. And then the second one is for the Junior Grand Marshal Lauren McNair. Is there a motion to add it to the agenda?
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
4 yeas, no nays.
All right. Is there any other amendments to the agenda?
Council President,
Yes.
where are you adding them?
We're gonna. Well, I got to figure out if there's some other add-ons first, but I can add them after item number. So make them 4A and 4B. Okay. Okay. Is there any other amendments to the agenda?
Mr. President.
Yes.
There is an amendment to the ordinance before you, and we also have a proposed presentation as it relates to the ordinance. The ordinance that's before us, I believe, Ms. Kopaz and Attorney Billings sat down and discussed it. So if we don't have any problems with that, we can try to move forward. But I also have a presentation from the Executive Director, Deborah Munson, to give us some clarity and update as it relates to this permanent pension increase.
Okay, I would like to add that after the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Shramsky.
Yes.
5 yeas.
All right. Any other amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Shramsky.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
Okay. All right. So I moved it after approval of the minutes. Or approval of the minutes.
It's the ordinance you added after approval of the minutes.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes from November 30th, 2021.
Move.
Support.
That's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Shramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
5 yeas.
All right. So now that brings us to special presentation. Councilwoman Waterman, if you want to introduce.
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mr. President. Before you, we have a proposed ordinance for permanent pension increase. We have Ms. Deborah Munson, who is the Executive Director of the General Employees Retirement Board System, presenting today.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
If you can you pull the microphone up because I don't think we can hear you.
Is this better?
Yes.
Good evening, and thank you for having me tonight. I would like to get clarity on the agenda change that you made with respect to the ordinance that was reviewed by Ms. Billings and Ms. Kopaz. I thought I would be addressing items number 3 and 4 currently in your agenda. Is that incorrect?
Is that a part of this presentation?
Pardon me?
Is it a part of the presentation that you?
The presentation that I prepared was to address items 3 and 4, correct?
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I believe you all have the presentation. I would like to just go through that with you. There's been some level of confusion about the GERS's position and what this proposal actually means. So I just want to walk through this with you. And then I and the actuary, Louise Gates, would be happy to answer any questions. So we'll just start on the first slide. The mayor proposed this idea of making the $400 supplemental benefit permanent, and 2 of our retirees requested a supplemental actuarial analysis to determine the cost of that benefit. Pursuant to PA 314, the board approved for this request to be forwarded to the actuary. Those retirees are now before you, petitioning you on behalf of about 1,000 retirees to approve that benefit. Pursuant to the city charter, the council sought the GERS board advice. The proposed ordinance under consideration was crafted based on the advice of the system's attorney, the actuary, and the investment consultant. The GERS board is not a party to the Cypria settlement agreement, nor does it have the authority granted to it by ordinance or other law to approve or deny this benefit. At the time the settlement agreement was approved by the judge in 2018, the $400 supplemental benefit was a temporary benefit. If the council is so inclined, the temporary benefit will become a permanent benefit effective December 31st of 2021. The next slide. Section 6 of the settlement agreement reached between the city and Cypria provides that the new GERS will receive assets equal to 130% of the pension liabilities of the old GERS, and that the new VIVA plan will receive assets from the old GERS plan, assets from the old GERS plan that exceed 130% of the liabilities of the old GERS. The systems attorney has offered her opinion that adoption of this benefit into the old GERS, as proposed in the ordinances number 3 and 4 in your agenda, does not violate the terms of the settlement agreement. The settlement agreement makes no reference with respect to the point in time at which the liabilities must be measured. The 2 proposed ordinances before you include in the old GERS all the liabilities for benefits which shall have been adopted through December 31st of 2021. Those proposed ordinances use some of the excess assets in the pension plan to pay for the projected cost of that proposed benefit at the time it is approved by City Council. This practice is recommended by the system's actuary as a best practice. The next two bullet points were really to address the concerns that this council had about future employer contributions. So we revised those ordinances and we will include in the March 31st valuation the cost of those proposed benefits. Before the transfers occur, we will account for the cost of those benefits, and there are assets in the fund currently to do so. These assets are a financial safeguard against future declines in the value. The other item we added was if the GERS funding ever falls below 113%, then the supplemental benefit would not be paid. On the next slide, Section 6 of the settlement agreement states in part, prior to the transfer of assets to the new GERS plan, the city and CIPRIA shall be given the pension plan assumptions and shall have an opportunity to approve those assumptions. If the city and/or CIPRIA do not approve those assumptions, the parties shall immediately submit the dispute to Judge Cohn for resolution. And what you have in the presentation are emails from the city's attorney and the attorney from Alec Gibb, which provided the direction to the GERS board needed to move forward with that termination valuation using the adopted assumptions. So that part of the agreement was met. Section 2 of the settlement agreement states that the class shall only include those retirees and vested deferred retirees and their eligible spouses and dependents who were eligible for health insurance coverage at the time the emergency manager orders were issued December 22nd, 2011, and will not include any retiree who retired or vested after the date of those orders. The number of members eligible to participate in the VEBA at the time the settlement agreement was approved was 1,573. Since then, the number of eligible members who can participate in that VEBA has declined by 47% to about 832 members. This includes those members who are deferred and not yet receiving their pension. Obviously, reasons for that include, deceased members and those who are just ineligible because they do not have the 10 years of retirement service credit. Pursuant to the city charter, the council consulted with the GERS board and sought its review of this proposed change. The board, with the assistance of its attorney, actuary, and financial consultant, reviewed the proposed change. If the council is inclined to adopt it, the proposed ordinance is a prudent way to responsibly fund both the pension and the health care liabilities pursuant to the terms of the settlement agreement. The transition to the new GERS and the new VEBA is on schedule to occur as of January 3rd, 2022. Adoption of this ordinance will not cause any delay in the timing of that transition or the payment to the city of the $8 million funds to pay the opt-outs. From an operational standpoint, the GERS is ready to move forward with this transition, and adoption of this ordinance will not cause any delay on our end. And I do note that you all received an email from the city's attorney this afternoon, and they raised another issue about, this may cause our IRS approval to be jeopardized. And I did have a chance to talk to the systems attorney just before the meeting, and she said that she could not think of any reason why that approval would be in jeopardy. That approval by the IRS was received on March 18th of this year. The only thing potentially that could cause the IRS to look at us and say that the termination didn't occur is if we didn't transfer those assets by March 18th of 2022. So that was her perspective about any potential issues with the IRS. And then finally, I just wanted to read Section 4 from the settlement agreement. In the course of the lawsuit, the parties investigated and evaluated the disputed issues, assessed one another's positions and viewpoints, recognized that each side has advanced substantial arguments in support of that side's position, and recognized that the resolution of the disputed issues through continued litigation would entail prolonged hardship for class members and substantial expense, accompanied by a risk that one side or the other could suffer an adverse result. Accordingly, the parties engaged in negotiations reached a mutually acceptable compromise and agreed to settle the lawsuit to end the uncertainties and risks of continued litigation and to achieve a final resolution of the lawsuit which provides for continued health benefits for class members as detailed in the agreement. The essence of that settlement agreement is that excess assets from this GERS plan would be used to fund that retiree health care, and we would maintain the funding of the GERS at 130%. The two items before you, items 3 and 4, fulfill both of those obligations by generously funding both plans and also limiting the city's future liability for any funding shortfall in either plan. And if we could just go to that last page of the presentation, I just want to kind of walk you through what you're seeing here. We put together what the liabilities would look like with the proposed benefit being included and without it. As of right now, the liabilities of the pension plan are about $328 million. The GERS market value of assets as of November 30th were $591 million. If we were to fund, which we will fund, 130% of those liabilities, that means $427 million would be transferred to the new GERS, and the excess assets, $163 million, would be transferred to the new VEBA. You all know that the city is in the process of applying to merge the police and fire VEBA with this new VEBA. There's an additional $45 to $50 million in that VEBA. So when you look down to the assets available for transfer, that's about $207 million. We wanted to show you the liabilities. What does that mean?
Before you start, I just got a message that the public access is black right now. So I want to make sure that everybody can see and hear this very important presentation before Ms. Munson goes any further. So.
Which public access are you referring to?
It's only one public access, the city of Pontiac, Channel 20. Yep.
Let me check on that. I believe the answer is our cable director is out to visit, and he is the one who did not really that. Okay, that's another 14 days. Right now, so I check to get the cable. At the same time, we're doing a lot of that. That's what it is right now. The person that we hired to substitute for him is not. So it's different. But I believe that is the answer. What I explained was that our cable director, who operates the simultaneous live access feed as well as the cable channel, is out with COVID and not able to operate those systems. The backup person that we have only knows the part, is adept at doing the part, so we can do the live feed. But he was not able to operate, so we can have the live part to the cable channel. But there is access to the live feed. But I believe that is the answer you're looking for.
So, Madam Mayor, how was the meeting broadcast last week if the cable director was out previously?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not one of the technical high proficiency people. That's what I was told when I asked what would be available. But I will check into that, and in fact, the deputy mayor went down to check in and see if that is the ultimate person who's able to operate both computers at the same time. We were
Okay,
checking on that.
can you?
That's the situation, and that's why, one of the things I did say, though, we have ordered the fiber optic, council delayed doing that. I went ahead and did that as an operation. So
Okay.
we can have
Let's go.
that equipment
We didn't
now
ask for
that is
that.
upgraded, so we won't have these
Sure.
problems. But that is
Sure.
on order, with Comcast, and that will be here, within a few weeks.
Okay, Ms. Munson, I apologize tremendously on behalf of the council. It seems that every time there's a vital piece of information that needs to go out to the community, we seem to have technical issues. But the PSAs for the city about opening up chambers and other things flow smoothly. So if you can continue, hopefully people will be able to pick it up via Facebook or whatever, but I know there's a lot of retirees that want to hear this information and are directly affected by it. So I do apologize, but I'll let you continue with your
Mr.
presentation.
Chair, what I give you, I just got additional information. It's actually Comcast that's now having trouble with the municipal channels. So it's a Comcast problem at this time. It's not even in our internal problem, so that's what's happening. That's the answer you needed.
Okay, can you continue, Ms. Munson?
Okay, so, again, I'll just back up again, to the new GERS, the $427 million. If this benefit isn't passed, as things stand today, new GERS would get $427 million. Going down to the next line, that means the excess assets, if you value it as of November 30th, is about $163 million. The police and fire again, the police and fire VIVA will be merged at some point with this VIVA, which will result in another $45 to $50 million. This $44 million is the audited financial statements from that entity as of December 31st of 2020, which means there's approximately $270 million available for use to pay the health care. The next step was to estimate what are the actual liabilities of this new entity going to be. We've had some challenges with open enrollment, but we did do an analysis on the GERS population, and as you know, the VIVA board hired Manquin Vance to shop the insurance. So we have information on the police and fire members who are eligible for this. The accrued liabilities for GERS members and for police and fire members who are not covered by that police and fire VIVA. The city had an actuary report done by NIHOC, the city's actuarial firm, and they estimated that as of June 30th of 2020, the liabilities for GERS members and those police and fire members not covered by the VIVA is about $69 million. The police and fire VIVA members, remember, they get an evaluation every 2 years. Their 2020 evaluation said that the liabilities for the VIVA-covered police and fire members is about $30 million. So at this time, based on the information that we have today, the liabilities of that new VIVA is about $100 million. Again, potential asset transfer is about $207 million as it stands today. So if we go over to that second column, let's pre-fund this benefit that you're considering adopting. We commend this council for being considerate of future councils, the future benefit of the city in saying, hey, we need to put in safeguards if we're going to adopt this proposed benefit. What the GERS board did was present to you a way, again, that you could fund both systems and limit the city's liability. So if you go back to the top of the page in the second column, if you approve the benefit as proposed in those two ordinances, the old GERS liabilities will increase to $378 million. Again, the market value of the assets doesn't change. As of November 30th, they were $591 million. 130% of the liabilities in this case would be $491 million that would be transferred to the new GERS. Going down that column, the excess assets would be reduced slightly, but not by very much. The new VIVA would get $99 million, but they're still going to get that $45 to $50 million that's coming from the police and fire VIVA, which means they'll have approximately $143 million available at their disposal to pay those retiree health care liabilities. And again, the liabilities don't change. In either scenario, that new VEBA is going to owe somewhere around $100 million based on the information that we have today. I do want to note just that in your agenda, items 3 and item 4 are part and parcel of the same proposal. Item 3 puts the benefit in the new GERS. Item 4 puts the benefit in the old GERS, which means we're pre-funding this benefit that's going to start. If you only pass item 3 or the item that Samantha and, Ms. Kopaz and Ms. Billings put, you would only be putting this benefit in the new system. You would not be pre-funding it, which means that on January 3rd, the new GERS, instead of being 130% funded, it drops to 120% funded on that first day. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware 3 and 4 are part and parcel of one another. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I appreciate your time.
The very simple question I have before I turn it over to my colleagues is, what happens if we only vote for item number 4? You mentioned what happens if we vote for item 3 and 4, but what if we only vote for item number 4?
If you only vote for item number 4, the liabilities are included in the old GERS. That ordinance also says that what gets transferred to new GERS is 130% of the liabilities of old GERS, pursuant to the settlement agreement. Those liabilities would be accounted for and would be transferred to the new GERS. I asked the same question when we did the ordinance for new GERS, if it was necessary. The response from the attorney, I don't know if you've read our ordinance, but every time you pass that ordinance each year to continue the $400 for 1 year, for 1 year, for 1 year, her response was, well, those are in the new GERS, and just to be consistent with the language, we should put that in the new GERS. So that's why it was in the new GERS.
So the recommendation of the GERS board is for the council to pass items 3 and 4?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions from my colleagues. Anybody got questions? Colleagues first, and then I'll recognize you after the council has spoken.
Mr. President, I'm just going to ask a little simple question.
Go ahead, turn your microphone on.
Yeah, mic is on. I'm just going back because we talked about the lawsuit, but the lawsuit was never brought before us. Got a lot of talking heads that's talking different things and adding different things. And I don't know exactly where my feet are at right now. I just know what the old lawsuit says, and there wasn't $400 included in it, and I was good with that. Now, if we still talking about that, and we're talking about these imaginary things that we're getting ready to vote on, that's going to move forward. Because I don't know what's going to be promised to them other than a bunch of lip service, but I can't promise these individuals that they might get anything other than what's in the original lawsuit.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I got the mask on, I can't even hear myself. Good evening, Deborah. I'm sorry if you didn't hear me. You know, I was going to ask the same question as well. This is very important to me, Deborah. I want this settled for the retiree. They need this. This is a long time coming. I get emotional about this because it's been a long fight to get here. And whatever the GERS recommendation to me tonight, I'm willing to do. These are my old former colleagues. Some I worked with, some I did not. But they didn't ask what happened to them, to the city, and they deserve everything they need to. So I just wanted to comment on that and put it on record. So if you recommend 3 and 4, that's good enough for me.
Anybody else from the council? All right, Mr. Clark. Oh, go ahead, Councilwoman Waterman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Ms. Munson, for being here. Thank you, Louise, for being here. Thank you for putting this data together so my colleagues could understand what is before us. I want to thank members of the GERS board who are here. All the retirees, please stand.
Yeah.
So this is just a few of who would be benefiting for this $400 to continue. I know this has been a long process. This has been a delicate process. This has been a process that has never happened before. So there are a lot of things that have had to transpire to get to this point. I'm just hoping that we can make this happen and we can move forward where all of our retirees will be happy, because as I look at it and see, this is a win-win for all of us. You will continuously to get your pension, you will get your health care, and you will be getting an additional $400. And that $400 to some people is a life savings, because some people don't even have that. And for us to take that benefit away from them, and I can say at one time, because of the settlement agreement that we had, I was going along with the settlement agreement. But the more I talked with retirees and the more I sat and saw what was going on, I think this is an excellent gesture, and I think I commend this council. And I thank you so much for allowing me to sit on the retirement board to be able to do this for our retirees.
Councilwoman Taylor Burks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am so happy that this happened tonight because, like I said before, I am a GM retiree, and we don't play, you know. And it was wrong for what happened to everyone here. And sometimes I would go home and just cry, because it could have been us on the other side at GM, but we all probably would be in prison today, though. But but I am so happy. I thank you, my daughter. You did a good job, and I am so happy, so very, very happy till I have tears in my eyes. God bless all of you, and we love you much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, if I might, I also wanted to give kudos to Ms. Capacity, because she has worked tirelessly to try to bring this thing. And I don't want anybody to think that it's us against them. She had a job to do, and I think she did her job well. So I just want you to know that, Samantha. There is no ill feelings as it relates to me for what you have trying to do. But I want to make sure that this deal is done. So thank you. I'm saying to you this day, thank you.
Okay. Attorney Clark.
Very much, Council President. Ms. Munson, thank you so much for the presentation and the information. I think you had stated, and I think you would acknowledge that Mayor Waterman and her administration is the one that actually came up with the concept of the $400 being a permanent part of the pension benefit, right? Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
I'm sorry?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
This was her idea.
Okay, so the issue, I think it's fair to say, the issue is not the permanent $400 increase. The issue is how it's accounted for actuarially. Isn't that the issue? Isn't that the issue?
We don't have an issue. We put up proposed ordinances before the council. I don't know what.
Okay, well, you would acknowledge that the settlement agreement requires it's 100% of the liabilities as of March 31st of 2021, correct?
That is not correct. The settlement agreement says that the new GERS gets
Speak
130%.
into the mic, please.
I'm sorry. The settlement agreement, and I have that here with me, says that the new GERS gets assets equal to 130% of the liabilities of old GERS.
Correct, and the $400 is not part of the old GERS system, correct?
It is, as long as the council continues to adopt an ordinance to make it a part of old GERS, it is a part of old GERS.
The permanent increase is not part of the old GERS system. Is that a true statement?
As of tonight, it is not.
Okay. And the settlement agreement requires and provides, and you've read it and you've cited it, and apparently someone provided you with my attorney-client communication today, which is another issue, that the settlement agreement provides for its 130% of the old GERS liabilities, correct?
Correct.
So to do what is being proposed tonight would, in essence, require a modification of the settlement agreement. Is that true?
Not true.
Okay.
No.
You saw the communication from Attorney Gibbs and myself, correct?
I did.
Okay, and that was sent out last week, jointly sending a communication indicating that if this proceeds, in the view of the attorney for Cypria, who was a party to the case, the attorney for the city, who was a party to the case, both believe it would violate the settlement agreement, correct?
The systems attorney, who worked very closely in crafting the settlement agreement to begin with, has advised the board that this proposed ordinance is not a violation of the settlement agreement.
Okay, but the GERS is not a party to the case, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And in fact, I believe I've received communication from your council chair indicating that the GERS board has no authority to do anything. They take their direction from the city, correct?
We are a creation of the city.
Correct. Okay. Okay. So at the end of the day, if both the city and the Cypria believe it's a violation of the settlement agreement, then at that point, the GERS board, or at least you as the executive director, have no opinion in that regard. Is that correct?
Could you restate that, please?
If pursuant to that communication that was provided to you last week, that if the city believes that the process that has been teed up for here today, as well as the attorney for Cypria, both believe that it's a violation of the settlement agreement, you as the executive director of the GERS board really have nothing to say in that regard. Fair?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clark and Ms. Munson. I do have just one. The city attorney just spoke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call for the vote. What's your? Okay, need to cut. Excuse me, Madam Mayor. With all due respect, we had a study session on this last week. Hold on. So, what? Call for the vote. I can't call.
Mr. President, I will be calling for the vote at this time. Discussion is over.
I support.
Okay, so we can't vote on this item until the ordinance is approved. So this will be on the agenda, I guess, again next week.
So this is the first reading?
Through the president, is two issues. I did not post the ordinance summary because I got a communication from the city attorney saying that the ordinance has not been approved as to form. The charter requires that any ordinance not prepared by the city attorney must be approved as to form by the city attorney. So until the city attorney approves the ordinance as to form, the council cannot take action on the ordinance.
So can I say something, Mr. President?
Yeah, go ahead, Councilwoman.
Because these are my colleagues, and I'm gonna give it to you like what's going on, okay? The mayor, Attorney Clark did state that the mayor did offer $400. We give her credit for that. She came up with that idea. But guess what? She wanna take it from you now.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
She wants to take it now.
Okay.
Let me finish. Mayor, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me because I didn't interrupt you.
Good information, but that
What is going on is for 6-7 years, I stood at that podium. No, it's longer than that because I've been on council for, so it's been longer than that. 10 years. I stood right there where you were, Deborah. 15. So, and I came to that podium every single Tuesday or Thursday when we was doing meetings back then. And Rochelle Brady and I, and several more, pushed this mayor, this administration, before that $400 came up, to allow the city of Pontiac employees to get their insurance. We fought hard. Leave no doubt, this administration did not want you to succeed in this. And that's what we got today. If they don't approve this form, we right back to square one. Because what they said in that email to me last week, in that attorney finding, is that they're going to go back and put it back in litigation. Guys, we may be another year or two of getting anything. Because that's what they're threatening us with. That's why the Attorney Clark did not approve to form that ordinance. And I want to tell you the truth. Some of you may travel far and long. This is what's going on. This is what we got in the city of Pontiac. Anybody know that you guys deserve what you're getting today? Why would you stop it? We got the money we had to. That's what I stood there for 15 years because we had so much money they couldn't touch us. Why we sitting here now and getting what we got? Because they tried to take it. But we had so much assets they couldn't touch it. So all I can say to you, Ms. Munson, is the fight continues. I don't know how many people are going to be left alive. That's what's so sad about it.
Yep.
And without insurance.
That's right.
Mr. President, if I might.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilwoman Water.
As it relates to this, I'm questioning, I know that Attorney Kopaz and Attorney Billings did this amendment, what is the problem with us moving forward on this amendment that they both did? Ms. Kopaz, would you go up there, please? Because I don't know where Mr. Clark is coming from. And that's where it gets to be a problem about the city attorney. He's supposed to be working for both branches of government off in here, and I see he's only working for one branch of government. I can't wait till January get here.
Woo, yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Kopaz.
So the issue comes first with adding it into the terminated GERS. I did not approve that, and in fact, I said to Ms. Billings and the city council that our stance is that that violates the settlement agreement. With respect to the reestablished GERS amendment, I sent over last week certain revisions and questions to Ms. Billings, which I was told were being forwarded to Ms. Munson. You presented me with an updated version right before this meeting, which I have not reviewed in detail, but it looks like the suggestions I had were in there. However, the questions have not been answered yet with respect to some of the other issues, such as where the 113% came, what the termination valuation means, how the termination valuation is going to make sense in perpetuity, meaning 20 years from now when actuarial valuations and standards change. So those were several questions that I have that have not been answered yet. But again, the city is, and based on the mayor's proposal, interested in moving forward with the $400 permanent increase, just not being accounted for pre-transfer.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a suggestion here, because it's this side against this side, and this person has an opinion, that person has an opinion. I'm going to ask today that a meeting of the minds of this council and Samantha, Louise, Attorney Billings, and Executive Director, that we hold a meeting in this council conference room, and that we sit down and we come with the details, because we've come too far to be apples and oranges. We need to come and make sure that this thing is done. So I'm proposing a special meeting just of us and nobody else to get in there and iron out what needs to be done to get this thing taken care of.
Okay.
I'm more than
Is there
willing
a
to
motion?
do that, but I will say that with respect to if it's going to be accounted for pre-transfer of assets, Citran needs to be
We're not going
involved.
to discuss this over this mic right now. We're going to get in there and we're going to sit down and we're going to come up with how this thing needs to be moved. So, Mr. President, if
So we need a motion to suspend the rules.
I move to suspend the rules, Mr.
Council Chair, if I could just interject briefly on that comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Miss-
So obviously, the council is duty bound by the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah.
So you,
I understand that part.
okay, all right.
we know that,
So-
but I'm
so-
talking about us sitting down talking. Not today. Please, not today.
No.
Where it's going to be an open meetings, but it's going to be, the agenda is nothing else.
So, Councilwoman Waterman, for clarity, do you want just yourself and the attorneys to be at the meeting, or do you want it a meeting of all of the council?
I want all y'all to.
Okay, no, I'm just saying that so the clerk can know what to post. So I'm just asking.
I feel like really basically you need to be in the meeting. Although they won't throw that, everyone wasn't there or some people don't show up. Why don't you just do what you, I think you first.
All right.
You on
I'm
the
good.
board, you know more about it than everybody.
Okay.
You come back to us and give us your decision from there.
I'm fine.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So no action needs to be taken. All right, so we're gonna move on to item number 4A. My colleagues, if you see this, so retirees, if you have to leave, you can leave now because we've addressed the retirement issue as far as we can go today. So I don't want y'all having to sit through the melee if you don't want to.
Council Chair, if I could just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we're off of this right now.
No, on item number 2, which is the temporary increase, that you didn't address that. Yeah, there's no actuarial, we're waiting on the study. I did speak with Ms. Munson through email, and we're expecting that study on the temporary increase. I just want to let the council know that.
Okay, thank you for that update. So when is that gonna be?
Any day is my understanding.
Year's gonna be gone in a
So-
minute.
Okay, so through the president, so where I'm clear, so is ordinance, And I guess
It's two.
Let's talk. No. But this is a question through the chair to Attorney Clark. So is ordinance 2 on the agenda? Has that been approved as the form?
Yes, it has, but we don't have the actuarial study. That's the problem. We can't move forward on it until we have the study.
So then it ain't approved as the form yet. Okay. All right. I just wanted to know if the council.
Yeah, the Public Act 314 requires an actuarial study for the temporary, and council, every time council has done these extensions temporary, a study has been provided in advance of any consideration.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, the
All right, we're going to move on to
faculty will be ready. We ask that.
excuse me. We're already on item number 4A.
Mr. Chair,
4A. Okay, so as you have seen on the mayor's new Facebook page, she is planning on hosting State of the City farewell address on December the 16th. So I brought a copy for all of my colleagues. Mr. Clerk, if you want to read the resolution.
Whereas it has come to the council's attention that the mayor is hosting a 2021 State of the City farewell address on December 16, 2021 at M1 Concourse Event Center. And whereas Section 4.102, subsection B of the Charter states that the mayor possesses all powers inherent in being the chief operating officer of the executive branch,
Please be quiet.
including.
If you have to talk to, you can talk outside of the council chambers. Thank you.
Including presenting the proposed annual budget in a State of the City address. And whereas the charter is clear, the mayor is entitled to have a, which is a singular State of the City address and not multiple. And whereas the mayor provided her State of the City address on June 28, 2021. And whereas the mayor may certainly have a farewell address at a location of her choosing, but not using taxpayer dollars. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pontiac City Council does not and will not approve any expenditures related to the mayor's State of the City farewell address or for any other speech or production.
Council President,
Yes, Attorney Sharp.
just to let you know that the mayor has stepped out of the meeting, so I don't want you to take action until she steps back in.
Okay. All right. So until she comes back, we're gonna start public comments, and then we'll come back to that when she comes.
Public comments?
Yeah, public comments.
All right. First on deck would be Mr. Richard Bale, and then, Richard Bale first and Quincy Stewart on deck. Mr. Bale?
Good afternoon, Pontiac. My name is Richard Bale, and I'm here on behalf of the Kids First Initiative, a nonprofit organization that was started and is based right here in the city of Pontiac. During my 12 years as an educator and coach, we observed the changes that were taking place with our young people.
Excuse us, Mr. Bell. Interference in the back, please. Thank you. Go ahead, continue, Mr. Bell.
With our young people in our community, with the workforce, and the country. Just over 7 years ago, KFI, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math, STEAM Ignite was started at WHRC during summer school right here in the city of Pontiac. KFI STEAM Ignite was started out of a necessity so we can meet the needs of our Gen X kids, a community in transition, a 21st century workforce, and a global economy. According to the Department of Education, research shows that early exposure to STEM has a positive impact across the entire spectrum of learning. STEM is a game changer for our young people. According to an estimate reported by the World Economic Forum, 65% of the children entering primary school now will ultimately work at a job that does not exist today. We all know what the jobs are of the future. They're STEAM jobs. General Motors is on its way to an all-electric future with a commitment to 30 new global electric vehicles by 2025. We want our kids to be part of that future on a global scale in the driver's seat. We have all heard the data, and some of you have seen with your own eyes the effects KFI STEM Ignite has on our young people. In our program, we take kids in the 2nd grade and teach them how to fly drones. They are building rockets and designing infrastructure. We're asking the city of Pontiac to partner with KFI by making a grant for $50,000 to help Kids First Initiative to ignite the STEM spark in our young people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Quincy Stewart, and then Mr. Chuck Johnson on deck.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who sent an email, Facebook post, or called during my illness. Deeply appreciated. Secondly, congratulations to those who were elected to office. It is my hope that if your candidate did not win, that you can forget that and for the good of the whole support who was there now, because to be sure, it's not about them anyway. For us, as so-called black folk, the answer is not now nor ever has been electoral politics or politicians. Every victory, every push in the liberation struggle has been waged by non-elected leaders. Dr. King, Malcolm, Marcus Garvey, Harriet Tubman, Fred Hampton, to name a few, were not elected officials. Elected black folks have, in some instances, helped us survive with middle managing the few resources that the system affords us here and there, and that's their value. And we should support those who are sincere and hold them accountable. I can say this to the new mayor, council, to our District Number 1 councilwoman. On this side of the council desk, some of us are cool. We laugh, joke, and that's okay. But you will find out in short order, when it comes down to being on the other side of this podium, that things, though it's not personal, it's strictly business. This is not now, nor will it ever be about you. It's about the people. If you're about it, then be about it. Lastly, as an educator, the recent events in Oxford are indeed alarming, and I grieve with the families who lost so much from this vile, heartless act. Warning signs were all but plastered in neon that this boy was not rap tight, and yet he was able to go back to class. Yet in our schools, children, black boys in particular, are relegated to special ed, defined as EI, or diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder and treated with such utter disdain. This glaring contradiction in how black boys are treated and white boys have been treated is realizing how white teens can carry an AR-15, shoot and kill people, be acquitted, and even then kill while killing other white folks. Can you imagine if Kyle Rittenhouse had been black and killed 2 white folks? Glaring, profound contradictions prevail in this country, or perhaps not such a contradiction at all.
Thank you, Mr. Chuck Johnson.
No, we'll keep going. All right, who's next?
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you here in the audience, and those of you that's going to hear me on TV, or maybe you can see me, I don't know. But I looked at the crowd here tonight. It's very impressive to see so many people to come out and listen to our dog and pony show. It's just getting started. With that said, I'd like to talk about the initiative that the what's the name of your program? Meals on Wheels initiative. We need to try and give that as much support as we possibly can. I also been sitting back week after week listening to the issue about the kids' place down on Golf Drive. I mean, we started out there. What's the argument and fight about, Gloria? You just don't want that to stay in place. And you staying on the mayor's back for whatever reason, and it's not worth it. Why don't we just finish out whatever we're going to do over there for the season and let it be at that? We got insurance. That's already been proven. We got the cleaning company. That's been proven. So why keep on beating the mayor up on something that she's trying to keep in place for the kids? It's not going anywhere. Week after week, we stand up here and sit up here and argue back and forth over the same, I don't want to get put out. anyways, the end of my comment here, this retirement issue. Week after week, month after month, year after year, we're hearing about this same issue. If the people or the retirees are entitled to a certain situation, then allow it. I mean, let it go forward. Give the folk their due. They earned it, give it to them. I don't care what the circumstance is. If you want to go and vote on it and say the hell with the mayor, then do that, because she can veto it. Whatever the case may be. But let's move on with it. Don't just sit here week after week and talk about and fight about the same old thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Billy Swayzer and Bridget Cantu is on deck.
Hello, I'm Billy Swayzer. We're going to fight about this $400 until we get it. So understand that. We have asked for it for 10 years. I was here when the emergency manager decided that he wanted to take our insurance. He took our life insurance, he took our optical, he took our hearing, he took our health, he took a dental, he took it all. And when we gave up on the life insurance, what he said, what we got was, we're going to have your health insurance eventually, but you're going to get $400 instead. So for 10 years, I've gotten $400. 10 years, retirees from the city of Pontiac have gotten $400 and the hospital, because it was a benefit, a pension increase. Now we saying make it permanent. Pre-funded. So the retirement system will have their money. The insurance people that can get insurance will have their money. And the insurance can have their money. To keep it in, to not fund it, causes the new VIVA to be 200% funded. 200%. Why are we going to overfund the VIVA and not properly fund the benefit? Because, hey, that's what they want to do. Now, yes, Mayor Waterman did come up with the idea when she was running for election, but she's not running for election now. And now it's, you can't take it out of the VIVA money. Well, they're going to have 200%. How many millions of dollars do they need? 10 million a year. And every year, a retiree dies. Every year, if not every month, a retiree dies. Let's be able to, so for those retirees that still live, that $400 means a lot to some of them. It's more than many people at the hospital get. So I would like for them to get it. And yeah, I like them to quit arguing. But I want also to bring to your attention, make sure you know whether the attorneys are continuing on the cases forever. Because it's some way that when attorneys do lawsuits and such, they can continue on and continue on and continue on. And I heard last week that the city of Pontiac has paid over $100 million, over $1 million, not money and spending it somewhere else and not making the attorneys richer and richer and richer. I can get along with somebody for $1 million. Amen. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Billy.
That was good.
Ms. Cantu and then Gary Kraft is on deck.
Hello, good evening. I haven't been here in a long time, but I'm here today. My name is Bridget Cantu, and I'm a volunteer in the community. And we spend a lot of our time at Ruth Peterson Center, finding out what the needs of the seniors are. And one of the things that I want to talk about is Meals on Wheels. When we were going through that covert, a lot of seniors were being fed. Us volunteers would take the food to their house, or they would come and pick it up and line up with their cars. It was open all through that. I just want to say before the year ends, we don't know what lays in front of us, but I just pray to God that that program continues feeding those people that need it. Those are seniors. They're also retirees. and they live in our community and all through Oakland County. It seems to me like programs like that are so essential in the community are the first ones they want to axe. And this year, we would go to different areas. We would take the food that would be called in, and thank goodness for those representatives in those centers. They were right there. They were probably risking their lives, but they were there to make sure that the seniors got serviced. The ones that didn't have the proper transportation or couldn't get out for some reason or another. But I just want to thank them for everything that they've done. They worked through a pretty dangerous time with this virus. And I'm just so thankful that the city of Pontiac and the mayor has been working with Meals on Wheels and different programs that they give every week for those seniors. So I'm just here thanking Meals on Wheels, and I hope their program continues this year, because we don't know what's happening, we don't know what's going to happen, but we want to make sure that those seniors that need those meals continue getting them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Gary Kraft, and then on deck will be Kathy, is it McNally? McNally. Thank you. You're on deck.
Good evening. Based on a decision you made earlier, I'm not sure you want me to go forward. My position is that I'm vice president of CIPRIA, the City of Pontiac Retirees Association, and I was here tonight to give what CIPRIA is determining based on this issue of the $400. The board has met, and I'd like to read to you what position we are taking. First of all, CIPRIA supports the extension of the temporary pension increase until the new VIVA benefits are paid. Secondly, CIPRIA is not opposed to the permanent pension increase as long as the GERS excess assets are transferred into the new VIVA before the permanent increase is provided. Basically, CIPRIA is standing by the agreement negotiated with the city, approved by the federal district court, and further approved by the IRS. We stand by that agreement. We do not accept any changes to the agreement, and we will litigate if we have to. Our basic position is the $400 was never a part of any negotiations prior to it just being brought up. All actuary reports, all studies, all investigations had no part was the $400 considered. So our position is, as long as the $400, excuse me, I don't have COVID, I have a sinus. As long as the $400 doesn't affect the assets and the liability, CIPRIA is in approval of the $400. And again, I would like to reiterate, we will not divorce ourselves or change any part of the agreement.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Kathy McAnally, hospital retiree and a member of the GERS pension system. I've sat in on 3 Zoom meetings with Mayor Waterman where she identified that she had recommended the increase, that the supplemental increase when it was finished for the health care be changed to a perpetual increase of $400 a month for all retirees. And this was with a formula that if the rate on investments fell, the amount that we would get as the additional pension would be reduced also. The mayor did identify that the proposal does need to be approved by City Council. Actuary reports have supported the fact that the extension of the perpetual increase, even after the funds are transferred out of the pension system to the new Super VIBA, is viable. Approximately 40% of the retirees in the GERS system are not eligible for health care or the opt-out benefits. Many of these retirees have built this $400 a month into their monthly budget. I can tell you, as the chairperson for the retirees group, many of our retirees have very low pensions. I know nurses who worked there way back when that had 25 to 30 years service at the hospital, and because our pension was frozen at the rate it was when we went private, not for profit, some of them are only getting $300 to $400 a month without the increase. I know housekeepers that have less than a $200 a month pension without the $400 increase. I encourage you to approve the proposals prior to the end of the year. As we know, come the new year, we're going to have a new mayor and new city council, and it would be a shame for all of the work that's been done over these past 4 years to be out the door and have to start again or totally lost. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next will be, I believe it's Ms. Watson. I'm sorry, your first name was scratched off, I'm sorry. And then Pastor Kathy on deck. Okay.
That's my scribbling now. My knees work, but I shake these days. In any case, my name is Linda Watson. I was a member of, well, I am still a member of CPRA. I've attended all the GERDS meetings for the last 12 years, and I am on the VIVA board also. We had worked so very hard and diligently to get to where we are now. We're right at the door. And then as for all the years, there's always someone who wants part of that money. Our latest struggle, unfortunately, has been the GERDS board themselves. This past year, they continue to put obstacles in our way to completion. Everything is set. All that needs to be done is for that money to be transferred. The settlement does not call for the 400 to be included in the liabilities. I am not against the enhanced $400, but it is not appropriate to be part of this court settlement. Now, there is no other obstacle to the court settlement being completed other than the GERDS transferring what was explained or what's in the court order. The GERDS board now wants to keep more money in the pension. But as a retiree, they're both important. But if one has an edge, it has to be my health care. Because if I'm not alive, the pension won't matter. And I've tried to explain that to them, and I was very disruptive at GERDS meeting in November, to the point that due to COVID, I'm now required to sit in the foyer. That's how angry and upset I was about what that board has been doing this past year, all in the name that we're doing it for the good of the retirees. For me, it's not. It's a power thing.
All right, thank
They
you. Ms.
had
Williams. That's your
500.
time. That's your time.
That's a tough one to follow. I wasn't going to complain tonight, but I am. Okay. Sorry. I've been coming to these meetings for close to 5 years now. I pretty well have a handle on how this goes. Just once, I would like to come to a vote night that's important with a presentation that we can see, the public can see, the public can hear. It's for the public, people. It's not about the mayor. It's not about the council. It's about the public. And the public is fed up. I hear it all the time in church. Well, we didn't get to hear that. Well, we didn't get to see that. Neither did we. And we're sitting there. We hear it. We just don't see it. This has to stop. And now the nice piece I was going to do, I wanted to thank the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. They've had a really tough week. I know they're cops. I know they plan on having tough, not like this. They not only had Oxford, today they had Walled Lake. They had Lake Orion a couple of days ago. They had a murder Saturday night. It doesn't stop, people. And they're getting criticized and crucified all over the place. They didn't do this and they didn't do that. They're human beings too. I watched Mike crying at that vigil. It was a pathetic, wonderful coming together, but everybody's terrified of everything now. A desk gets dropped and people think somebody got shot. We need to take a deep breath. Rest in the faith. Most of us would claim we have some kind of faith, whatever your faith is. Rest in that faith. Trust in the God that you serve. Thank a cop tomorrow. They're having a tough program.
On deck will be Miss Darlene Clark, and then James Sabash on deck. No, Veronica Taylor and Melody.
Hello. First, I'd like to thank all the city council people. I know your job is very hard and stressful. Also, I'd like to thank the mayor and the deputy mayor, as well as your job is hard and special. But I'm here today to represent citizens of Pontiac because I am a resident of Pontiac. And Pontiac has been given a lot of information all year, a whole lot. But just when they get clarity, they get confused. And getting confused with the council and the mayor, especially when they're at odds with each other, it becomes doubt to which way do we go. So hopefully what I have to ask the council, this is directed to the council, it's directed to the mayor, it's directed, it's to the attorneys as well on both sides. Two things the citizens want to know. And I'm not asking these questions to start problems, to start arguments. I'm truly asking these questions for clarity so the people can rest a little. Because being on edge all the time is not really good for anybody. And you guys are on edge, the mayor's on edge, make the people on edge. So let me ask these questions, and please address this in some time before you leave office for the new coming people, council people, mayor, to have a clear understanding as well. One question is for the ARP funds. Do the mayor have the authority to move forward without the approval of council in spending money? I didn't ask for answers. I just said, please think about it and let the people, address the people with it. The second question, according to your city charter, page 8 and 9, section 4-103, for deputy mayor, the mayor shall appoint with the approval of council, a deputy mayor. So we got that part straight. But on page 9 it says, to serve at the presence of the mayor and perform the duties of office during the absence and temporary disability of the mayor. But the council has to vote upon the deputy mayor. So please give clarity to the public, because we're confused. They're confused. They're looking for answers so they can walk with you, on the side of you, and not behind you. And right now, the citizens of Pontiac, especially the ones who's been here forever, who was born and raised here, they're in circles, lost, and not which way to go. You got your city retirees tired. You got your homeowners tired. Help them. That's all I'm asking you.
Thank you. Okay, James? And then Veronica Taylor on deck.
I've noticed a couple of trucks in the city of Pontiac that had an interesting message on the back of them. I thought it would be a good message to share with the public. Have you talked to God today? Tim has a board on Orchard Lake. When he was running for, his board is still up there. I think it would be interesting if Tim replaced his picture with a message to the public. Have you talked to God today? Follow with Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the prime thing. Because wisdom will, with all the you acquire understanding. Acquire understanding. The last message that would be on the board, replacing Tim's board, on Orchard Lake, paid by the city or Tim or myself. Thank you, Jesus. Acquire understanding.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Miss Veronica Taylor on deck, and followed by Melody if she's here. I don't see it.
She's gone.
First, let's give honor to God. Secondly, let me tell you, I thank the city council, people here, and this mayor. But right about now, hearing about the Gurge for almost since I've been here, and these retirees, I miss my grandmother and my grandparents. And I'm retired from Hustle Hospital as well as Christ. Listen. Before y'all leave here and leave this bench and this mayor's office and this council, it really breaks my heart to see that y'all cannot just get along and the council people give these people their money. They need it. I went to St. Joe's the other night because I twisted my ankle and it was swollen. It was so packed in there with people, but they couldn't even put you in a room. You was all up against the walls and stuff. Now we are losing our people that are retired and worked hard for this country and did what they were supposed to do. And COVID out here taking them out every day as I'm seeing this. We do not need to lose anybody else here getting their Gurge money and getting their money, this retirement money. We got enough with the young people out here shooting at the schools. We got enough with people out here just cannot afford to live. $400 should not make or break nobody. And with Miss Rosa Randolph
that's being good enough to take care of these people on Meals on Wheels, before y'all leave, think about all this. Y'all don't have but, what, 2 more sessions? And then a whole new group of people coming here. In 2 more sessions in 4 years, I think us as City of Pontiac, this council board have did a marvelous job and tried to work together with the mayor. The mayor tried to work together with you all. We have to put y'all differences aside because our voters don't even want to vote for the next race that's coming up. Our votes are being peeled back. 35 of those are being peeled back right now. So why can't we just get along in the city of Pontiac and give them and give each other some love and give these people their money? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for a point of privilege, really, to kind of clarify some things. We usually don't talk during public comment, but I can't allow this narrative to go out. The city council not only came up with the $400 idea that everybody has benefited from to start with the healthcare when the emergency manager didn't want to give y'all anything. In addition to that, what was proposed tonight was to give an additional $400 in perpetuity to all of the retirees to the city, not to take any money away. So I want to clarify that this particular council has been not only proven to give y'all money that was taken away by the emergency management, is coming up with creative ideas in order to try to give you additional money. So for it to go out on the airways that the council is holding up anybody's money is not only disheartening, but it's anti to what is there. The last thing that Councilwoman Waterman, Councilwoman Miller, and all the other retirees that sit on this board has been trying to do is to make sure the people are whole. And the one thing that gets lost is between the VEBA, between the $400 increase, is we could have took a total opposite stance, which is all the money goes back to the city when everybody in the pension is no longer here. And so the overfunding really goes to the city, but this council said, let's find a way to make sure that people have an additional benefit. So I don't know how that's getting lost and what's going on in the nuance is for the lawyers, not for me. But I wanted to make sure, on behalf of my colleagues, that the people know that the quality of life is trying to be enhanced by this particular council with money that just could have went back into the city coffers when everybody passes away. So I just wanted that real reality to be out there. And then the second thing is the people are coming down speaking on Meals on Wheels because Councilwoman Waterman said we have $100,000, for senior citizens, and we should might give that money to Meals on Wheels. So it's not about cutting the program. It was about finding CDBG money that was going to sit there and probably go on the sidewalks to give to Meals on Wheels. So I want to clarify those two things really quickly because people hear these public comments and then they think it's the gospel. So I want to clarify on behalf of my colleagues so we didn't have to add 35 minutes to the meeting about it. But I want to give clarity that the city council has not tried to take away anything from our retirees, only tried to add with Meals on Wheels, who does an excellent program. And so now we're going to move back to the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. President, for explaining to the public exactly what you've been trying to do.
I just got one quick comment. I can't wait till I get on the other side. I can't wait till I get on the side. I represent the whole District 5, but when I get on the other side, Chuck, you're going to see I'm back. And I will tell you what's been going on.
Okay, we're going to go back to item 4A now that the mayor has returned. Mr. Clerk, if you could read that resolution again.
Whereas it has come to the council's attention that the mayor is hosting a 2021 State of the City Farewell Address on December 16, 2021 at M1 Concourse Event Center, and whereas Section 4.012 subsection B of the Charter states that the mayor possesses all powers inherent in being the chief operating officer of the executive branch, including presenting the proposed annual budget and a State of the City address. And whereas the charter is clear, the mayor is entitled to have a, which is singular, State of the City address and not multiple. And whereas the mayor provided her State of the City address on June 28, 2021, and whereas the mayor may certainly have a farewell address at a location of her choosing, but not using taxpayer dollars, now therefore be resolved that the Pontiac City Council does not and will not approve any expenditures related to the mayor's State of the City farewell address or for any other speech or production.
All right, do we need to suspend the rules, Mr. Clerk?
No, this is
Uh,
a formal meeting, so you can
Okay,
vote.
all right, first I need a move and support.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any city council discussion?
Yes, I just want to be on record. Mr. President, that's the first time I've seen that particular piece on the mayor. Mr. Johnson, that's another illegal move. That's illegal. Right. I'm just trying to show you what we do. That's an illegal move. We paid for the mayor to do her first State of the City address. That's your taxpayer money that she's trying to ease in again for us to pay for again. You only get one shot. We doing our jobs. We doing our jobs. That's all we do up here. We just doing our job. Because guess what? It's going to lay on us at the end of the day. As I said, I can't wait till I get on the other side. I'm going to tell you more of this going on in Pontiac. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shrinsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks, Waterman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
All right, so we do have some good news. The other resolution, which is 4B, is a City of Pontiac resolution for a junior grand marshal that was presented as part of the holiday extravaganza. Mr. Clerk, we need some good news today. Can you go ahead and read that resolution?
City of Pontiac resolution for Junior Grand Marshal Lauren McNair. Whereas it is a sense of this legislative body to honor an outstanding young adult of remarkable character who is inspirational and who serves as a role model to others, and whereas Lauren McNair has the unique distinction and privilege of representing the City of Pontiac as the 2021 Junior Grand Marshal and is a winner of the Fran Anderson Making a Difference Scholarship. Whereas Lauren McNair is a Pontiac resident and attends Waterford Mott High School, and whereas Lauren McNair is an exceptional student who has a passion for volunteering in the community, and whereas Lauren McNair, as a volunteer in the community, often assists youth and teens with alcohol and drug abuse prevention, serves as a tutor, creates murals, and teaches art classes, and whereas the driving force behind Lauren McNair's community involvement is to make the community a better place, whereas Lauren McNair is also a remarkable scholar who has been on the honor roll all 4 years, is a member of both the National Honor Society and the National Art Honor Society, and has been on the varsity cheer team for 4 years, and whereas Lauren McNair is a rising star who plans to attend college next fall and major in health sciences, and whereas Lauren McNair is an active volunteer with the Oakland County Sheriff PAL Cheer and Dance Program and the Clarence E. Phillips Ascend Foundation, Truth Youth Coalition, and whereas Lauren McNair's contribution of leadership, selflessness, and commitment to our community are invaluable, now therefore be resolved that the Pontiac City Council and members of the great community honor and salute the personal accomplishments and achievements of Junior Grand Marshal Lauren McNair for a job well done and for truly representing the City of Pontiac. Congratulations.
All right, is there a motion?
Move.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Shramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
All right, which brings us to item number 5, Attorney Sharp.
I will just say, so the information that recently came to light was the fact that Oakland County is now contributing $125,000 to the skate park. So council initially had agreed to use $180,000 out of the capital improvement fund. And so with that contribution from Oakland County, that reduces the city's obligation of $55,000.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move.
Support.
All right. Just want to make sure that the money is coming out of the right place, Attorney Sharp.
So instead of, because of the fact that it's $55,000, it's suggested that you don't have to touch the animal control and that you can just take it out of the legal service, council's legal services.
Okay, is that going to be noted in
It's in the resolution.
Okay.
The clerk can read the resolution.
Okay, all right. Mr. Clerk, if you want to read the resolution, just the last whereas.
Whereas to fund the current appropriation, $55,000 is to be transferred out of the general fund balance GL account 101-101-804.000 legal services into the capital improvement fund.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Thanks to the Oakland County Commission for providing $125,000 to reduce the city's portion of the match, and that's why this is no longer a $180,000 budget limit.
Okay, all right, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yep, thank you. All right, we need a motion.
You had a motion. The motion was made by Waterman and
Okay.
supported by Taylor Burke.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, roll call.
Shramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller. 6 yeas, no nays.
Okay, which brings us to item number 6, resolution to schedule a public hearing to reprogram senior housekeeping services to safety and repair services for seniors and disabled persons for community development block grant program year 2019-2020. Is there a motion?
Move.
But that's,
Now this is a public hearing.
No.
schedule.
This is to schedule the public hearing for it. Yeah, but,
Okay, as it relates to this, Mr. President, as I stated last week, in regards to this, I want this to be changed, that the funds would go to Meals on Wheels.
okay, Councilwoman, I think that's a good portion. I would also, and I asked Mr. Bale to come to this meeting, I think that the city should do something for him also out of this $100,000.
Well, give $150 to him and the other 50 to Meals on Wheels, since it's $100,000.
Okay, is there support for that?
I support.
All right. Any discussion?
I just have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And don't get me wrong, I think all of it. But I think it's probably some other agencies out there that need some things too, like the homeless or something. You know, I just, as a body, we work for the people. It's some other agencies out there that deserve some of the money too. I can't think of any offhand. I think Wheels on Wheels is great. I think but if there's we can't give any of that money to the Panthers, can we?
We can do 25 and 25.
Right.
We need a motion to do that.
Right, the Panthers need money. Those kids stand out there every day in the cold and in the summer, running in front of cars, and the Panthers need money.
So, Council President,
Yep, so.
just to
Just
clarify,
whatever you
It
allocate,
has
I'm
to
sure
be
they
eligible
appreciate it,
expense, though.
just whatever.
Attorney Sharp?
I was just gonna say, just to clarify, again, this is just to schedule the public hearing.
Right.
So, I guess if there is consensus not to have it go to what's proposed and to potentially open it up for other programs, then you can certainly do that. But
Okay,
again,
so
for the
what does that
public
need to say, Attorney Sharp?
it would depend on what this council decides to do, how you wish to proceed in terms of
Well,
other organizations or.
as I state, Meals on Wheels, everybody that's sitting in here, majority is a senior, and I know Meals on Wheels touches probably everybody, somebody's household in here. So I can understand, I would really want to see majority of the money going to Meals on Wheels. I think Mr., come and tell me your name, huh? Mr. Bale, he has been out here, I would love, and I have no problem sharing, having that money with the Panthers, because I do know that they work. But I think maybe 25,000 of that should go to Meals on Wheels, maybe 15 to the STEM, and 10 to Panthers.
So 65 to the Meals on Wheels, right?
Yes.
25 to who?
To Mr. Bell, the STEM,
Okay.
and then the Panthers.
And then the remainder to the Panthers?
Yes.
Okay, and that's what, the clerk is gonna get those numbers together, he's gonna publish that.
80, I mean 65 and 2, that's it, that's 90 and 10 to the Panthers, that's 100.
Yeah,
Oh. No,
No.
yeah, I thought that was 100,000.
Right. Oh, no, right, no, I said 10. Okay, yeah, that's 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, so let me restate it just to stop confusion. Okay,
Yeah, that's too much.
65,000 to Meals on Wheels, 25,000 to Kids First Initiative, 10,000 to the Pontiac Panthers, whatever their nonprofit is.
Yes.
yes.
That's 100,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, all right, and so we want to schedule the public hearing for that. Okay, the public hearing will be on December 21st. Is there a motion?
Look, support.
Okay, I'll take the move from Dr. Taylor, the support from Councilwoman Waterman. Any city council discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Shramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
All right, which brings us to item number 7, resolution authorizing the entry of the state and local government interstate agreement concerning allocation of settlement proceeds in the national opioid litigation. Attorney Clark sent us a memorandum today. Mr. Clark.
Yes, Council President, thank you. So this is a matter where the city was part of a class action. The documentation provided indicates pretty much every community in the state appears to be a party. And as I indicated last week, the amount of the proposed settlement proceeds are $1.1 million ballpark, and that would be paid over 10 years. So we're looking at about just over $100,000 a year. And it's my understanding that money is not earmarked. It's not like grant money. It would go into the city's general coffers to be used at the discretion of council mayor through the budgeting process. So I would recommend that council proceed with approving the settlement as proposed.
Okay, Attorney Sharp.
I don't disagree with what Attorney Clark has stated, so this is council's pleasure to vote on this issue. Feel free to do so. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shramsky.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
All right, motion passes, which brings us to item number 8, resolution to adopt the final version of the merger agreement between the City of Pontiac Police and Fire VEBA and Super VEBA.
Good evening. I was before you last week discussing that this merger of the police and fire VEBA into the Super VEBA is a term and condition of the settlement agreement. The Super VEBA board and the police and fire VEBA board have already approved that and had the merger document reviewed by their council.
Okay.
Move.
Support.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Waterman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shramsky,
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
6 yeas, no nays.
All right. Items number 9, 10, and 11 are received. We just did public comments. Is there any elected officials? Because I think we skipped that part. Okay. Seeing none, then we'll go to closing comments. Madam Mayor, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to start by talking about the wonderful holiday extravaganza parade we had. And that was the decision that was made to go forward by the 5 mayors of the cities to participate in this, even though it was in the shadow of what had happened with Oxford Township and the students. We grieved for the ones and the families who suffered for the loss of their children and injury of their children. But it was talked about amongst the 5 mayors that even in these times it's important for people to pull through with the sense of safety and security for the rest of us. And so we went ahead with that holiday extravaganza. I thank all the volunteers who made that happen. The state of the city has already been, the council has already given me that announcement. It will be next Thursday. December 16th at the new main event center in One Concourse. The public, it's open to the public, it's required by the charter, and everyone is invited to come. There'll be announcements about that. I do one by the charter every fiscal year. I have not done one this fiscal year, contrary to the council's calculations. So generally I do it in June at the end of the fiscal year. This year I'm doing it halfway through the fiscal year. So that's why that is going on, and everybody's welcome. I hope you can come and hear about the challenges, the opportunities, and some of the pitfalls for Pontiac ahead. I'm happy to talk about that in terms of transparency and all the things that help. We're going to be giving awards, and we're going to have some surprises for you as well. But I do want to talk about the Viva, and in all the debating that's gone back and forth, I'm not here to debate. I'm here because I've spent 9 years of my life, 8 years, working to make sure that this retiree health care was returned to our retirees. We found out during the mediation, which went on for 2.5 years, that there probably was excess money left with this plan if the IRS accepted it, and that was the big if. We didn't know because this was very novel. But if they accepted it, there would be money to have an increase permanent for the retirees, and that's what I brought forward. And I'm happy that the council and everybody wants that. The retirees want that, especially the hospital retirees, which were not eligible for the health care. So the $400 permanent was important for the hospital retirees. We aren't sure about the police and fire because they haven't had their actuarial study yet. But that is the bottom line for me. All the other arguing, I hope it doesn't distract people. But I know it's hard for people to understand what's going on with all the lawyerly debate that's going on. Basically what it is that we need to make sure, as Ms. Kopacz tried to tell the GERS board, that we need to do this in a way that will still be approved by the IRS. If the IRS doesn't approve that plan, in which they won't if it's not in accordance with the settlement agreement, then the whole thing goes down. We do not want that to happen. CIPRI understands that. The city understands that. The GERS, some of the members of the GERS board understand that. And when Ms. Munson here and spoke, she said that those two things that have been approved by the GERS board.
All right, that's your time. That's your time. That's your time, Madam Mayor. That's your time. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okay, Attorney Sharp.
Evening, thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Sharansky.
Hi, I don't know if any of you are aware, I was ill and I was out. I don't know what the virus was, but I suspect it might have been COVID breakthrough. I am vaccinated, so it was very mild. I'm on day 17. There's absolutely no way I can infect anyone, and I stayed home the entire time, although I've been working, just not been here. Before I leave, I do have some loose ends I would like to tie up. I have said repeatedly I would like to make the landlords responsible for relocating tenants. I have sent a copy of that to you 2 months ago and the city attorney. I would appreciate some action on that. And it is one that is already done in the state of Michigan, so we should have no problem using it. And I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he was saying that, well, sometimes renter's insurance covers that. And that is true, but not everybody can afford that. Some people on vouchers have absolutely no money at all. And really, you want to make them pay when they've let the building go down so much that it's condemned and everybody must be relocated. I want them to pay. It's already the state law, but let's put some teeth in it. Let's put some consequences in it. I also would like to say, on Delaware and Boston, but particularly on Delaware, between Boston and Ogemaw, it is like the surface of the moon, and I have reported it already. There is asphalt missing to where it's just bare dirt. There's obviously a drainage issue. It needs to be replaced next year. So who incoming, I hope you're listening. But for right now, could we please get some potholes filled? I did talk to Dwayne Lyons about that. And have a good evening.
All right. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I wasn't going to have closing comments, but just as the clerk, one of the clerk's major functions is being the record keeper and keeping the record straight. And it was alluded in the resolution, but I'll read from the charter, section 4.102, just simply says, presenting the duties of the mayor, presenting the proposed annual budget in a State of the City address. So a State of the City address has been presented once this year, not two. It makes no reference to presenting one per fiscal year, because the fiscal year goes from July 1st of one year to June 30th of the following year. So the State of the City address was already presented once this particular year, The new State of the City address will be presented by the new mayor, with all due respect, who was duly elected by the residents of the city of Pontiac. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. President. First thing I want to address is the duties of the council. You know, I have been sitting here for 4 years, and I think the best thing ever could have happened to me is for me not to come back here, because on that other side, you're going to see a side of me you thought was bad last time. This is going to be all. Because I learned a lot sitting back here. I learned the corruption. I learned the people. I know the players. And guess what? I'm going to call them out. Mr. Clark, you sent an email to us, this body, in reference to someone came to the podium. You said that they couldn't speak on the person's elected officials, or and you stated that that was not correct. Am I correct? They cannot do it. We can speak on anyone that's sitting here on this body as elected official because we have that right of the First Amendment. Am I correct? That's the email that you sent to my colleagues and myself.
Was that email today or was that?
That was last week.
Okay.
Last week. I even got a copy of it in my car. I've been carrying it
I'm not
close to my heart.
I'm sure that I did. I don't recall that I did. Okay. I
Your
send a lot of
office
emails
did.
every day.
Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Your office did. I can't
Yeah.
remember if you were on the email.
Yeah.
With that be said, I can say what I need to say. When you sit in this seat, you're open game. And what I mean by that, that means that anybody that sits here or elected, or if you put your name on my literature, you're up for game to be talked about. And it's coming. I'm going to tell you why. And a lot of people in my district want me gone because I speak peace to truth. I'm going to speak why they want me gone. I'm going to speak why they're going, what they're trying to do, Pontiac. For the ones out there that I've been here all my life, for the people that really know me, you know me. My heart has always been the citizens. I'm going to show, I'll probably be the first council person to keep working like I'm still sitting in the seat. Because before I got here, I was working. I didn't need this seat. I don't need the money. I told you that. I didn't do this for this. I'm not going to lose a thing. But I'm going to still work for District 5 for the people that supports me. I'm not going anywhere. You can run me out the seat, but I'm not going anywhere. I can't be bought. I can't be bought. I'm only for the people. I don't need the money. So that put me in a good position to tell everything that has gone on in the city. The players, the people that are sitting here are not the ones running the city. And I'm going to tell you who are. And it's going to be some pastors. It's going to be a lot of people. Neighborhood association people. I'm going to tell you a lot. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Pro Tem Carter.
Thank you, everyone. I'll be brief today. I want to thank everybody that it was a pleasure giving away over 400 turkeys for Thanksgiving, and I think this makes about the 22nd year I participated in the Christmas parade. It started with my children, and I think since I've been on council, it's been I think for the last 10 years that we actually had floats in the parade, and I always wanted to represent our district, the gateway to the north, District 4. And with that, and I just want to let everyone know that I do have majority of all the copies of the documents I have of the city. They will be readily available. I have most of the videos of the city, because I just want to let everyone know that the city will be missing all kinds of videos. We probably cannot go back and find a video from 2000 coming forward. There will not be a video available, and changing from new equipment to old equipment, and I spoke on it. I don't believe we had a transfer of the old videos, whatever format they were, VHS or DVDs, to some type of something that's appropriate for you, the people, should be able to retrieve and watch on the city website. With that, I want to say, and thank you very much, but you have my number, and the documentation is available since I've been on council. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I got one quick announcement. We are having a healing space for those who have been affected by school trauma, bullying, the Oxford thing, all of that at the Crowfoot from 11 to 1 on Saturday. So it's free. Lunch will be provided. If you want to register, go to, it's on my Facebook page and some other stuff. But we know a lot of people have been affected, not only by this trauma, but other trauma that they're dealing with in school. So if you can spread the word and be there Saturday, that would be excellent. I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 7:51.